Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to this 10th edition of the Alpha X Arena. We're almost ready to start with some little small problems with our players, but actually everyone showed up and we're ready to get into our first game of the series. We're just gonna get into Veto phase first, but let me explain how this is going to work. So this is a pretty short tournament. We have this weekly every Thursday. Actually, we start this a little bit later, and well, it's gonna be two semifinals into a finals, all best of three, and then the winner gets to play against our champion. His name is Kuku. He's won for 3 times in a row, I think, and 5 times overall in these 9 editions of this tournament. So that's pretty big deal. And well, they're gonna play, the winner is gonna play him in a best of 5. And well, I shall get my players ready. So I'm gonna explain this rather quickly. Each player is gonna veto 3 maps, so only 1 map is remaining. And at that point, let me copy paste the screen real quick. So who's gonna be the first to actually wait a moment? Yeah, Potato Club is gonna be the first to actually choose the first veto. So each player is gonna veto 3 maps, and then is gonna be loser's pick after the first map. So the only one that's remaining will get played on, and it's gonna be a best of 3. So our first veto map is gonna be ER0. By the way, my name is Acontistas. This is an inner Alpha X tournament, and well, that's it. Thank you, Kaiojin, for following. Thank you a lot. I don't know if you follow this channel or my channel, but I guess time will tell. So the stream is actually on a 2 minutes delay, since my players actually asked me to have a small delay. And well, I think it's actually pretty fair. Sorry. Um, I hope you hear me better now. Well, let me check a thing real. I think it should be better now in both sound quality and stuff like that. I have to set up my new mic. I'm gonna do it in these weekend days, sorry. Okay, let me get our first map going on. It's gonna be Paul Alexander. Sorry about this minute of silence. Just had to actually go and see if people can hear me better. I think the server is gonna be central. Okay, let me leave arcade chat since it's obnoxious to say the least. Yeah, I think Central is probably the best. Let's all set to Central. Oh! This is a lot of ping. But this is really fake. Yeah. Told you. So man, can you hear me better now? Just let me know in the chat if you can hear me better or not. I have to set up some things in the options anyway, so this is set, and this should be this. Yeah, I was missing a little bit of music. Maybe in sounds and sound effects a little bit lower, or we're just gonna hear bailing splashing everywhere, and we're not gonna hear anything else at all. Maybe music a little bit loud. Why the music is not playing? Yeah, okay, that's better. Master volume maybe a little bit lower. Yeah, I think this is gonna be the case. So, Pig Lobby, ready to get into first game. They sound better now? I hope it is. I then hope it is. So no, I'm not gonna play. So this is gonna be a ZVT, first map, Paul Alexander, and well, I've seen ZVTs on Paul Alexander last like 30 minutes or something. But, well, we're just gonna see. Let's get into game one. First game of our first semi-finals. This is a best of 3. Good luck to our players. Yeah, I'm just pumping up the volume, Kyojin. So I hope you're gonna hear me better in game. But well, just write in the chat if you cannot hear me correctly, and I'll just try to fix it live. I do not have a lot of tools to do it, since I do not have my new mic set, but well, it's gonna be better for the next stream. I then swear it's gonna be better. So probably the gain is an issue, but that's the only way to actually not sound like a robot. It's almost the same. Well, we're into Paul Alexander and here spawning in the top left hand corner, we have our green Terran playing for Alpha X. Like any of the players you're gonna see today, he is Potato Pleb. Nice trophy you have over there, man. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of the one and same Port Alexander, we have a red Zerg. Asking how Potato Pleb is, TVZ is. Going for an Archverse, we have Illusion, also known as Kali. Well, Archverse, as I said, Refinery first into Barracks to get the Reaper out quickly, get a factory, you know, get things going. I seriously doubt this is gonna be a 2-1-1 build by Potato Pleb, but well, who knows with these guys. So range is around like, I think both players are like 4.2k MMR. Oh come on, man. Just tell me you can hear me. I do not know what to do anymore. But, well, as I said, oh, CVT 19%. That's not a good win rate, I'd say myself. But Potato Pleb scouts Illusion's base, sees the Archverse, sees the spawning pool extractor, classical build, really standard, and goes for a low ground command center, knowing that no harm could come in like less than a minute and a half or something. But where is the SSCV going? 2 queens, 2 packs of links, really standard. No clash opening by Illusion that decides to go for the 19 overload and get to the 36 maximum swipe. At the same time, the Reaper comes in at the same exact moment. The first 2 packs of links actually come out, so no tax paid. But this Marine is gonna eventually shoo away the overload. But Karin actually sees the reactor building next to this barracks, and he's gonna see the factory. He knows this is probably gonna be a 1-1-1 build. No barracks involved yet, and well, a little bit of a expansion block over here. The SCV is probably gonna get out alive, and Reaper comes in actually to try and deny the... Ooh, this was close actually. With a little bit more commitment, I think Potato Pleb could have eventually denied the third phase of Illusion a little bit more. Hello Ashman, welcome to the stream. But anyway, he gets the link. That's way more than enough that you can do with the Reaper, since actually Zergs have become so proficient at defending Reaper harassment compared to Wings of Liberty days, at least. So Tech Lab and for the barracks and Starport going on for Potato Pleb. Is this Banshee play? I definitely think so. Both of the commands are ready. Link speed is done. Still no Alien Nest. I think Illusion still wants to see what's up. He knows this is gonna be actually Reapers, Hellions, and he actually saw the Tech Lab. I think he did. So, lair on the way for Illusion that has got a ton of overloads. Look at the supply. Yeah, I didn't say the stud would. But anyway, Armory to deal a lot of damage with those Hellions. Actually, this is probably going to be a Hellbat timing attack. Along with the Banshees, and Belly Nest is the defensive tech unit of choice of Illusion that needs to survive the Hellbat harassment. The modern harassment seems like a timing attack. Those are 6 Hellbats. They can deal a lot of damage to only links. You kinda need those Banelings, and I almost fear the Baneliness is a little bit too late compared to what actually Illusion scouted. And the moment the Banshee's gonna come in, it's gonna deal a lot more damage. And now the Hellions actually move into, I don't know how to say, but well, they're now Hellbats and they're killing a lot of lanes. A Spinecrawler has been built as those 6 Hellbats can deal a lot of damage right now. They destroy the Spine Crawler immediately, and I fear a lot of drones are gonna die if Illusion is not careful. The Banshee comes in, not a lot of units in this moment. A good surround on the Hellbats, but the first queen dies, the Spine Crawler goes, and there are no more links. Actually, I don't know what is happening, why Potato Club is not doing anything. Well, now he is. He just went into his base to start Steam Pack, and only 2 of the Hellbats actually died at this moment. This is so cost efficient for Potato Club that has killed. Just look at the units killed tab 47 to 5. And now a lot of drones are dying as well. All the drones are actually in this place, they get called to kill those Hellbats, but 20 drones have died. Only now a Spore Crawler gets into position to shoot the Banshee away and actually kill it in this scenario. But Potato Club got a huge advantage right now. Steam on the way, tanks on the way, a good transition into bioplay. And now his third orbital command is almost done. Natural oversaturated, and well, this is a lot of reactor barracks. I think Potato Club has the edge to actually close out the game with all those. Ooh, a Spire transition. Well, without actually scouting what's going on in a Potato Club's base, I do not think the Spire is the right decision right now with only 44 workers. That's not something you can actually afford a Lean Muda style right now. Probably Hydras were the better choice tech-wise, and this Banshee is actually going to deal some more damage. 5 drones killed already, and now the drop is gonna come with a Hellbat and 4 Marines, sorry, Marika. And well, the Hellbat is gonna tank a lot of stuff, but now the Banshee dies, and the Medivac is forced to get away. But Potato Club is getting more and more advantage right now. 7 drones killed, and now he has a worker lead of 11 workers. Without even comparing the armies, this is tanks, steamed Marines against Mutas and Links. Not a lot of Banelings yet. Actually, wait a moment. I forgot how to put up the upgrades tab. So we're getting into the spot Potato Club wants to get. And actually, he needs to bring that tank over here to actually try and deal with the Banelings. Oh, and the fight starts just now, but the Mutas do not stand a chance against all those Marines without the attack upgrade. Now, slow Banes, not what you want to have against all these split Marines. Now they get ahead, try to get a lot of damage done. The Banelings come in, but they do not find a lot of good connections. This is a lot of Banelings, but the split is incredible. They decide to kill themselves upon the tank. The single tank can withstand a lot of Banelings, and right now Potato Club definitely has the edge. Eventually his offensive is gonna get cleared because of the splash damage Muta deal. But well, with those many tanks, a lot of drones are actually going to die right now. Now the Mutas are trying to go for the few remaining Marines, but Illusion actually is falling more and more behind each second that passes in this game. 2 tanks have been killed, but look at this Bio army. This is way too much for a Red Zerg to deal with. Baneling speed on the way, +1 air almost done, and +1 melee almost done, but at the same time +2 Bio just started for Potato Club that is getting into a dominating position Illusion trying to go for a 4th base of his own, but well, his economy is in shambles right now. Still slow Banes, they're not gonna be fast Banes before the attack starts, and the Bio army steams forward, gets into position to deal with all those wings, all those wings, all those mutants, and the Zerg army doesn't stand a chance. GG has been called, and Potato Club gets game 1 of this series. Great game by our Terran player. Hellbat timing is something really scary. I think our third player is a little bit rusty, because you see Barracks, you see Reactor, you think of Aliens immediately. Well, Carlin's Illusion. His Illusion choice for the next map. Yeah, Kaioshin, his split were incredible against slow Banes. There is no way you can un-micro Steam Marines with such a good split. And Year Zero is gonna be our map of choice for the next game. Year Zero, what a choice. Ooh. Come on, Akon. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I've been missing this, guys. I've been missing those games. Didn't cast the game in a long time. So, Year Zero, big map. Hard map as well. Not a map everyone can play on. Most players actually prefer not to play on this map, but I actually see that certain players have a slight... I don't know, they favor this map in a way. I don't actually know why, but they do. Anyway, let's get into game 2 of these first semi-finals. Potato Club is leading the series 1-0. And we're gonna see if he's gonna close it right now, or if we're gonna see a decider match. Spawning in the top left hand corner, leading the series 1-0 on Year Zero. Heading from Korea but playing from Japan, he's our Green Terran. He is Potato Pleb. Spawning instead in opposing top right hand corner of the one and same Year Zero. Right to the right of Amon. I swear he's here, but well. Anyway, he's a Red Zerg trying to tie the series. He is Illusion. Yeah, I kind of like how the music interacted with my introductions. But we're gonna see, I think, standard open once again from both players. We don't see any shenanigans yet. I like to see a clash opening by Illusion, but I don't know. I don't know. That's tricky. You have to have some experience to actually make it worth and not just hinder yourself. Yeah, I think Bane Middle is basically impossible to do on free bases, since it's such an upgrade heavy army composition. You kinda need at least, I say, 7 gases to support the Mute of Lock and all the upgrades you gotta get. Especially if it's a double spy play, but that's really uncommon and I don't think it's really good. But you kinda have to stay on 4 bases. Yeah, you have to have like a lot of Green Bane before transitioning into Mutas, but that's really hard to do when you're under Banshee's harassment, since, well, Mutas actually outspeed Banshees. They are the only unit that outspeed fast Banshees, I think. But problem is, you actually delay anti-air by such a long time when you decide to go for Muta. Since Spire takes a long while, making Mutas takes a long while. At the same time, the Hydrogen is basically instant. It takes really small time to do, and the upgrades for the Hydras are actually a lot faster too, and they do not really require +1 ranged to be effective, since they are mostly a support unit. But, well, to each his own. CVT can be played in a couple different ways. So Potato Player actually delays a little bit the third base by Illusion once again, loses the SCV while doing so. And I think Illusion's opening has been slightly sharper. You know, he's getting to slight worker lead. The orbital commands still have to, the second orbital command still have to pop in. Metabolic boost almost done. His third queen on the way. A little bit of supply block, but well, that's a lot of alerts at the same time. And actually, this is a big change of playstyle by a Red Zerg. He decides to go for ranged, for Roaches as his defensive unit of choice, and this is so much better versus Hellions. But sadly, this time, I do not think this is gonna be Hellions. I think this is gonna be a really early 2 bases Marine tank Medivacs push. Oh, what do I see here? Some little bit of a Banshee harassment, even maybe to scout something, but if there is something against which you don't want to have Roaches, it's a 2 base lane with Marines and tanks. At the same time, 2 Aliens and a Reaper get into position to actually avoid Illusion saturating his third base, but Roaches are coming out, and well, this is a pretty early level. I don't know how I missed it. 2 Evo Chambers. Is this a Nidus build? Work speed doesn't really mean Nidus to me, doesn't scream Nidus to me. But, well, anything can be. So those 4 links are actually gonna be wheeled pretty soon. But they actually trade quite good. They get the Reaper, and that's probably the most important thing they could get. Anyway, the Overseer knows what's going on in Potato Bed base. Well, not yet, but he's gonna know soon. At the same time, the tank count is getting up, upgrades are kicking in, and, well, Roaches versus tanks, it's like saying, I don't know, Lings versus Archons. Not that Lings are necessarily that bad versus Archons, but you need a lot of them. As you do with Roaches. But Illusion actually knows what's going on in the production of Potato Pleb, but he didn't quite scout his natural, he didn't quite scout this little bit of a timing attack. Not an all-in, as I said before, since he decides to go for a third command center, probably a third orbital command, to actually try and push his advantage further and further if he deals enough damage with this push. And this is all about positioning. If you can get into a good position with those Roaches to get the slightest amount possible splash damage with the tanks, that's good. But this is quite a nasty tank spot. And Roaches are quite out of position as well. The first queen is just gonna die immediately, and there is no detection yet. There is an Overseer, but I don't know where it is. The 2 tanks are in a perfect position. 2 Roaches get on one of the tanks, but the Banshees are eventually gonna kill all of the Roaches. This is quite the damage done by Potato Pep, but it's still not enough to actually get that good of an advantage. The army supply of Illusion is getting up and up each minute. 5 Hydras and 9 Roaches on the making. He decided to go for the fast tech ranged choice, and I think the error of Potato Pep was actually not fully committing into this kind of push, and now we see a transition into mech play. The mag something upgrade for Cyclones. And what do we see here? Lynx? Does Illusion want to push actually right now? That will be something. So I kind of want to open the... no, that's not what I wanted to do. But anyway, I like to build up the upgrade tab. I don't think Illusion has Hydra's upgrade. Those are definitely slow Hydras, and those are not good spines Hydras. But Illusion tries to get into this position. He probably thinks there's the third command center over here. Oh! So he wants to commit to Cyclones, Hellions, and Banshees. That's quite a strong army versus Roach Hydra, but this is not pure Roach Hydra. And well, Groove Spines is on the way. I don't think this angle is quite good for Illusion, but he has definitely a big army advantage. Oh, the Overseer dies, there's no detection, and the Banshee is eventually gonna kill basically everything. Oh, the command center does not get cancelled, it gets killed, and the Lynx at the same time are going reckless into those SCVs. The tank gets in a good position to try and deal with this, but the one Ravager has quite a lot of range as well. The Cyclones upgraded can eventually deal with this. A lot of SCVs have died though. I don't know if our Terran player can actually deal with this the way he wanted to. 5 Banshees, a lot of Banshees, but his economy has been seriously hindered. 17 workers have died, and he lost the big worker lead he had before. Mills can be something to actually get on quickly in the game once again, but losing the command center at the same time as Illusion is actually getting his 4th base running with already 6 workers in it. Well, that's not the place you want to be in a TVZ. So he tries to move a little bit forward with his Ferrari mech. At the same time, Infestors are now the choice of Illusion. 2 more starports. What is going on, guys? This is starting to resemble more and more Cyril versus Gumiho. But this is not enough Cyclones to actually deal with this many Hydralisks. Oh, the Banshees get caught instantly by the Overseers, and the Hydras that don't creep with muscular augments are actually so freaking fast. So Ravagers morphing to try and deal with the Cyclones, and the Infestors with the Fungals gonna make the Ravagers' life a lot easier than it is right now. Hive for Illusion, and he probably wants to get some Vipers out to try and abduct all the Cyclones, maybe some Banshees, because those are fast Banshees. They have the Rotors upgrade. So is Illusion actually committing fully to this? This is a lot of Roaches, a lot of Infestors coming out. He tries to get on this 3rd base location, and actually Podilova is a little bit out of position. I think the supply depots are eventually going to fall, but if the Banshees get... oh my god, this is not a good idea. Hydras go nuts on these Banshees, and there are no more Banshees, like just one. Now he needs another good fungal on this. Oh, he lost 2 Infestors actually to this. 3 Infestors immediately with only 1 good fungal, but the air army supply of Illusion is actually so big he loses another Infestor. That's not what you want to have. Once again he has lost all of his Overseers, and the Battlecruiser has actually came out. That's not a lot of Hydras remaining, so eventually the Battlecruiser can... well, now the Battlecruiser has died, as well as 27 SCV. I think Illusion has done this. He gets to tie the series, and we're going into game 3. Well, well. What a game we just had. Not too shabby, I'd say. Oh, this was a great game. Well, so Kairos Junction is gonna be the last map of this series. Not Big Game Hunters. It will be a lot of fun to play on Big Game Hunters, but I do not have the time to do so. So, our players are think that they are ready after a little bit of chit chat. And we're going into game 3. This series has been tied up. Good catch. We avoided the TVT. Phew. Yeah, I actually agree. I think he should have gone for more factories. But I think he was a little bit scared about losing all those SCBs. I will be scared too. Ready? Let's go into game 3. Well, well. Illusion versus Potato Pleb. I think getting all of those upgrades was another thing that hindered a little bit if his production, but well, anyway, we are into game 3 of our series. Spawning in the top left hand corner. He does not want it to be a reverse split, I guess, but yes, now to prove everything in this third match of the series. Spawning as the Green Terror, he is Potato Pleb from Korea. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Kairos Junction. Is this a Psionic Aftermath thing? No, it's not. But anyway, we have our green, sorry, this is red. I'm not colorblind as well. Our red Zerg. He wants to get 2 games in a row. Get to the finals. Get to the grand finals maybe? We'll see. He is Illusion. Proxy free Rex, says Illusion. I do not see a proxy free Rex. I see once again both players going for the standard comfortable play they showed in the 2 games before this. Illusion start, has been quite sharp once again. He tends to get quite a good beginning of games. I think this is a 1.13 spawning pool. Anyway, that's a super early spawning pool, and I think it's gonna finish basically in the same instance as his hatchery. So he's gonna get those 2 queens out sooner. He can deal with the Reaper sooner, and well, that's truly the difference between a good player and a great player, in my honest opinion. But anyway, at the same time, Potato Pleb goes for the low ground command center. Yeah, as I said, those 2 queens are basically started in the same moment. But anyway, Potato Pleb goes for a factory of his own, and now I think he's gonna decide to go once again for the Hellions timing. Or just harassment. Just those 4 to 6 aliens. Ooh, this is a third base deny by Potato Pleb that actually catches the drone going out. Now the Lynx try to escort the drone. That's actually the reason why the Clash opening is a lot sharper and a lot stronger than the standard Zerg opening in CVT, since you can you basically get a little bit of a later, yeah, that's a, if he attacks those rocks, that's a good thing, but he does not. Well, you see, if you get actually expanding this way, but this is such a good spot for tanks. You can kill the extractors basically without anything you can do with anything you can do about it. And this is the same if you don't kill the rocks. But if you kill the rocks, this actually becomes such a good place to defend for the Zerg, since it's quite open. You can get from multiple sides. There are, like, you can get from there, from there, from there, and from there. But anyway, 4 Lynx get in. They try to get the mule, but the Hellions come in big style with the 2 Reapers and deny any type of damage our Zerg player tried to do, but he does not need those 2 Zerglings, those 4 Zerglings, sorry. This is our Roaches. Roach play, fast lair, 2 Evo Chambers, but this is a Spine Crawler. He actually tried to wall himself in, actually wants to wall himself in. This is a wall, this is a complete wall, but, well, wall do not perform a lot against flying medivacs. That's the way StarCraft works, apparently. But anyway, aliens cannot get through here. They actually get through here. Well, where is the medivac? Oh, I lost the medivac. Oh, the medivac is here. So this is a nice multi-prong by Potato Pleb that actually tries to deal damage to this archery, get the army out of position, and those aliens are now going nuts on those drones. Ooh, this could kick so many more drones than it actually did. Only 6 drones died. He tries to kill the archery, and now probably the medivac is gonna drop those aliens in the position to actually deal with the army. Actually not, and he has to get away unless he wants to lose more and more units to these Roaches. Actually, I think Potato Pleb didn't lose a single unit in this harassment, and he killed 8 drones, 9, 10, 11, 12. The Liberator dealing a ton of damage, already on 7 kills, almost 8, and now our mule gets dropped in the wrong position. So Illusion is a little bit in a panic mode, I guess, since he's not producing anything. Now, Hellions in his third, Hellions in his second actual, Liberator in his main. His Liberator has 14 kills, 24 as drones kill, 18 workers to 43. This is starting to get pretty rough for Illusion, and he does not want to lose this base. If he loses this base, it's so over. Now the Roaches get into position. The army supply of Illusion is quite good, actually. He starts to get some more units as well, but at the same time, scouting with his Overlord, he gets to see there is a lot of economy going on in Potato Pleb's base. And well, he has another command center. I don't think Illusion knows. Yeah, and now he thinks he's forced to actually move out, while Potato Pleb actually decided to, well, he can go for whatever he wants right now. His advantage is so big, there is basically nothing Illusion can do. Now he sees a Banshee moving out, and he has no detection yet. First Pokecoil gets dropped, second gets dropped, but I don't think this, oh yeah, this is a nice move by Illusion that wants to defend his archery with all he has. He needs to defend his archery with all he has. The Banshee needs to get in right now, but the Spoker is almost ready. I don't think the Banshee is going to kill this archery. Illusion knows the Banshee is here. No, that's slightly out of range. Now he's trying to transition into Hydras and you know, get this army composition that allowed him to win the last game. But Potato Pleb has such a huge advantage right now, going for upgrades for his bio play. Lot of barracks. How many barracks is this? 5, 6 plus 1, 2. Well, this is 8 barracks, 2 starports, and the Ghost Academy. The Banshee is still here, trying to rack up the energy to try and deal a lot more damage. But Yovasik gets in position to scout what's going on, and he needs to see the Ghost Academy.
Our drones are under attack.
Okay, he sees it. The Banshee moves in, and it's in a spot. Oh gosh, look at this spot. Can you get the archery? This will be huge. If the archery falls, oh my god. This is probably game for Potato Pleb. No economy, no production. I think this is game, to be honest. That's the most damaging blow our Terran player could ever deal to the Zerg player. He had a huge bank. He started to spend on Liberators, Marines, Reactors, and stuff like that. He can salvage this bunker. He does not need defensive structures. He can move out and alright kill his opponent, which army consists of just 10 Lings, 6 Bings, 4 Banes, 7 Roaches, 3 Queens, and 3 Ravagers against a ton of bio. And this is upgraded bio as well. So tanks try to get into a good position, and Illusion knows he needs to buy a little bit of time. But if the tanks get up on that ramp, I don't think there is going to be enough time for a Zerg player to survive into the next stage of the tournament. 150 supply to 43, the Banes do not get good connections. He decides to run into his natural, and now the tanks can move forward up on that ramp. While at the same time, Potato Pleb goes for a bigger economy. Oh, the tank is not gonna die with just, oh yeah, it's gonna die with that bio. He gets 2 tanks out of the 3 that came, but even the upgrades get denied. He tries to get more and more Banelings, but the Liberators are gonna join the fray, and a lot more bio is coming in as well. I don't think Potato Pleb can break, Illusion can break this sieging position with slow Banes. All those Banes get actually on the Marauders. A good connection, but this is not enough since there is no upgrades versus upgraded Marines. Illusion first pulled with GG, but wow, what a good move with the Hellions by Potato Pleb and the Liberator. 26 drones killed with a multi-pronged attack, and he gets the series and gets to play in the finals. Well, time to get our next 2 players. Oh, where is Lily? I need to write her on Discord. Alright, as always, I'm gonna give like 10 to 15 minutes time for Lily to show up, but I knew she was kind of busy today, so I don't know if she can actually play the next series. But anyway, I'm gonna notice Kyojin that this could be a walkover. I'm just gonna wait a little bit more. Actually, Potato Pepper and the Kaioshin played in the last edition of the arena. No, not the last, the one before the last. It was quite the series, really interesting one. And I'm kind of curious to see that, but I will be way more than happy to see Lily show up and play in the next semi-finals. But well, walkover can happen. There's no big deal. We're still gonna have a finals. We're still gonna have a grand finals. But well, we're just gonna see shortly. Lily still didn't show up, so just having a nice conversation. Lily? Oh, Lily counts. Okay, so it's a walkover. Guys, it's a walkover. Lily just text me she can't. So guys, we go into Vita phase. We have with two one-time finalists in these finals, grand finalists. Sorry. So year 0, first Vita. Gamescope, second Vita. New Repugnancy, third one. Why do I have the feeling we're gonna play on Kairos Junction? I'm almost 100% sure we're gonna play on Kairos Junction. You're just gonna see. This is definitely going to be Kairos Junction first. So, two maps that are open right now are Port Alexander and Kairos Junction, the two most standard maps in existence. Boring. We gonna play on Kairos or we gonna play on Port Alexander then? Well, look like I was wrong. But still, this was right the second choice. Really. If this wasn't Kairos Junction, Kairos Junction was definitely TVP. Actually, I'm starting to play a little bit more as a random player lately, and I have to be honest, TVP is quite a fun matchup. It's really a lot of fun, really a lot of mind games involved. And well, our two players are going to get a small break, a small bathroom break. And well, I'm just gonna tell you, those two guys had history. They played against each other quite a lot of times, and the outcome of this series is far from obvious. I think they're like even right now. I think 2 times Potato Pleb has won and 2 times Kaiojin has won, or like 2-1 or 1-2 or something like that. So it's really really close. Anyway, I've had the pleasure of casting one of those two guys series, and I think actually Potato Pleb won 2-1, won the first game, lost the second, and then won the third. And it was Port Alexander, Kairos Junction, and the last map I think it was Cyber Forest, and it was a cheese maybe, I don't remember correctly. But well, those two guys have quite the balanced games. There is really a lot of balance in the games we can see from those two guys, and then that's why I'm really looking forward to see who's gonna face Kuku in the grand finals. So Potato Pleb is back. We're just gonna wait for the Kaiojin right now to start our first game of this series. Really well done, by the way, by Potato Pleb in the last series. Really enjoyed it. We're ready to get into our first game of the series of this finals on Port Alexander, Potato Pleb versus Kaiojin. Good luck, have fun to our two players heading from Korea and from Morocco. I think those two places are quite distant. I think Italy is farther from Korea than Morocco is. I don't really know. I think it is, but I don't really know. Anyway, spawning in the bottom right hand corner with the chilled terror music playing. He is a Red Protoss, recently joined Alpha X and already has shown his great play style, his great personality, he is the Kyojin. Fast scout, final scout. Spawning in the top left hand corner as the blue Terran, not green this time. Blue Terran looks so good anyway. It just fits so well, don't you think? Oh, anyway, just won the semi-finals versus a really good illusion. It is Potato Plant. We're finding reverse Barracks versus Gateway. No cannon brushes. And this pylon is actually part of the wall. If you put the pylon in part of the wall, you actually want to wall in as soon as possible. I think that's how it works. I think it does. But anyway. Anyway, Barracks is done, Orbital Command is gonna start immediately after, and the Reaper is the next thing done. So yeah, the pylon is gonna be part of the wall, and both players are probably going to go for oh, thank you Sniper, thank you a lot for the beats. And well, actually I do not have the alert box for the game thing, and I have to set it up, so I'm really sorry about no sound playing, but thank you a lot for those bits. Anyway, this probe is just going everywhere to try and scout for something, but well, 7-8 go first, next is second. The Reaper is trying to get one of the probes, while the SCV is actually saw this. What is going on here? What is going on? Just check the unit lost up. Just one probe died. The Reaper tries to scout a little bit everywhere to see for eventual proxies, but both of those players are actually going for something really standard. So 1-1-1 probably going on for Potato Plant, and at the same time Command Center on the high ground to avoid any cancel, any denial of his expansion. Main base oversaturated, as Alpha Star teaches us, and the Kyojin going for a Stalker heavy play, so another Stalker warping in, and the Twilight Council is the tech choice of the Kyojin. So probably this is going to be Blink, but it needs way more gateway to start doing something with those Stalkers. And anyway, the Kyojin actually gets the Reaper position and he forces it to get back into his base, but if that's one thing Stalkers do not trade good against, trust me, it's Marines. So Gateway proxied over there, and well, yeah, that's the Dark Shrine. Signature move of Alpha X Protoss, Kyojin and Nemesis. They like the Dark Templars quite a lot. Warp gate almost done, and now it's done for good. More gateways going on as well, and well, actually Potato Plant has one scan. I don't know if he wants to save it, knowing that his opponent can go for, but he does not save it. So no Raven, no possibility of getting a Raven, no scans. Oh gosh, Dark Templars can deal a lot of damage in this scenario, but at the same time, if he gets those Marines and those tanks all the way through the map, I think the Kyojin has to warp in those Dark Templars in a defensive way, and in this manner he will not deal a lot of damage to his opponent. So Liberator starts as well. Not a really good oh god. Yeah, this was close. A little bit too close for
Additional
comfort.
supply depots required.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, only one pylon here. Oh, kill that pylon, kill the production. So that Templars actually get warped in on the other side of the map to try and deal damage with it. But Bunkers starting to get built in on the ramp of the Kyojin. And well, he needs to work in some Dark Templars in his base to actually deflect this before Potato Pepper actually starts making missile turrets. Oh, so he decides to sacrifice actually. The Dark Templars actually get scattered with his scan. But okay, one dies actually to the Liberator. At the same time, Tech Lab immediately dropped in, and the Kaioshin just wants to do a lot of damage right now. And this Dark Templar is going reckless. He needs a turret right now, but he cannot build it. He needs to get the hell away from there. And the decision of the Kaioshin of going for fast Dark Templars actually paid out. This could very well be a build over the game, to be honest. Since this is probably the only scenario in which this push by Potato Pepper actually doesn't perfectly work. I think he needs to build a missile turret to make this work, but well, at the same time he lost 31 workers, he only has 13 workers left, and I don't even know where they are. Yeah, they're not even working on minerals right now, and yeah, just tapped out of this game. Well done, Kaioshin, but this was such a weird and scary game. Oh god. Dark Templars are scary. Okay, Kairos is gonna be our next map. Yeah, Kairos. Who would have thought that Potato Pet would have chosen Kairos Junction? He always chooses Kairos Junction. But anyway, he needs to tie this series if he wants to face Kuku in the grand finals. Well done by Kaioshin, anyway. With this, as he said it, well, I will not repeat what he said, but that's a nasty build. That's really a nasty build. And we're getting into game 2 of this finals. Yeah, actually, the Kaioshin just asked if our grand finalist and champion Kuku was watching this, and I'm damn sure he is right now, since he prepares this game with quite a lot of anticipation. He always wants to know who's against him, what style do they play, what's their MMR. It's really a guy who prepares a lot for his games, so it's quite an advantage to get straight into the finals, but well, you have to deserve it, you have to earn it, you have to win a best of 5 to get into that spot. But anyway, let's get into business, let's get into our second game. Here, leading the series 1-0, we have a red Protoss spawning in the top
Game
right
paused.
corner of Kairos Junction is Potato, the Kaioshin, but I'll do it with more style later. Yeah, I'll just do it again. Oh my god, what is this like? No, just play with stuff. Yeah, I get to find out. Yeah, that's G. Okay. We're just gonna wait until the Kaioshin is back again. And I hope he is the fastest way possible. So I do not have a lot of time. Anyway, it's possible from the next week that this tournament is actually gonna have match arena codes. I'll keep you updated on it, but well, that's something we're discussing right now. So we're gonna see what it's gonna bring us, and it's gonna start a little bit later for this reason, since it's gonna be a little bit more, serious. Not that this isn't serious, just to give more type of players the possibility to actually play in this. Yeah, this is pretty weird, but he's not the guy who will post without a reason. So we're just gonna wait a little bit. 15 minutes is the amount of time before you can get a walkover. Yeah, just having a little bit of conversation. All the holidays? What? Oh. Oh, I was getting comfortable with the chat.
Game resumed.
And we're back into our game. Let me start back with the introductions to our players. After a little bit of chit chat with my boy Potato Clap, here he is, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Kairos Junction, map of his choice to try and tie the series. As I said, he's from Korea and he is Potato Clap. Spawning in the top left hand corner of the one in staying Kairos Junction. Gateway first, no sneaky forge, just getting the series. It does not have to do with things. To close it out is the Kyojin. Fresh meat to our Alpha X roster, which you can actually join really easily. You can allow Discord just by looking at the stream links just underneath the stream. You can join our Discord, you can become part of this great family that is Alpha X, get to play in these tournaments, get to play in many other tournaments, and overall, just meeting people, getting help from pros, and just being part of the community, supporting the community with all those codes and the stuff we have to actually give freely give money to players through match arena codes and stuff like that. And well, I think if you love this game and you do not have currently a team, you should really consider joining Alpha X. Anyway, Kyojin hiding probes on the map. This spot is so nasty. Like, how do you even are supposed to scout over there? you know, there is no way you will ever send a unit over here. I always send a Zergling over here for this same reason, and to kill the rocks. But that's another thing. And actually, Podilabab is trying to scout and you will
Our
not see
SCVs are
if
under
it's going
attack.
to do something over here. The SCV scout gets shooed away. But he has a pretty good idea what's going on over here in the Kaioshin base. Actually, the probe starts to move out. The Kaioshin is, sorry, the Podilabab is still scouting for an eventual proxy. The probe is gonna get into the base of his foothold. Yeah, I think he saw the factory anyway. And he does not want to see anything else anyway. The Reaper is very, very far. He can hide his probe back again. Marine can actually outspeed it, and yeah, the probe is dead. No proxy going on yet for the Kaioshin, who decides instead to go for a robot. And if the Reaper tries to get on top of you, he's a dead Reaper. But he's a dead Reaper anyway, read all the way through those two Stalkers. And there is no way you can get past that. We think that Podilabab actually didn't try to climb on top of this ramp, of this hill, since that's really useful for Reaper Scout in TVP especially. Anyway, Warp Prism, first unit coming out of this robotics facility, and the worker lead of course is of the Protoss, since that's how Protoss works in the first minutes of the game, thanks to Chrono Boost and stuff like that. But actually Podilabab is going for heavy commitment into barracks, getting the Cyclones out, getting Raven. I think this is a 2 basal lean. I'm definitely positive this is a 2 basal lean, and it's lucky it shows the Cyclone, because this is gonna be Stalkers and Yamatos, probably. Still not Twilight Council, so this could be very well be like CIA, Charles Immortal Archons. No, there's just a lot of Stalkers. This is a lot of Stalkers, and still no Medivac out. Oh my god, there's too many Stalkers. You need the Cyclone over here to try and deal with the Stalkers, try and kill the Warp Prism as well. The Ruin is gonna come out, so he cannot actually micro with the Warp Prism, with a good interference matrix. He gets into a safe position with the command center, but he's gonna lose 6 SCVs, 2 mules, and probably way more. The Marines are actually in a good position. Steamer is halfway through. No, well, he just started. He's gonna, well, actually Kaioshin is such a good spot right now. No tank out for Podilabab as well. Okay, the tank is out right now. He needs to put it in a position. He needed the interference matrix, and he needed the Cyclone alive to deal with this. This is way too many Stalkers. And the Kaioshin has actually gone through the supply depots. Boys have been pulled, but this is still too many Stalkers. They try to get on top of the tank has died, all the series got pulled, all the Marines died, there's just the Raven left, and 20 workers versus 6 Stalkers and a Warp Prism. So this is almost like a kind of full gate. But yeah, this is GG. I wouldn't do anything against this. I thought it was Immortals, it was just a ton, and I say a ton of Stalkers. And Kaioshin closes out the series and gets into finals with another nasty build. I'm gonna call our actual champion. It's all Simba, waiting in the chat. That's a way to put it. Definitely a way to put it. So let me check my. Huh. 66. Okay. No, not what I wanted to do. Yeah. You know the drill, boys. Automaton is always the first Vita of Cuckoo, and Kairos is always the first Vita of Kyojin. By the way, it was kinda nice to see actually the Kyojin avenge his first loss against Potato Pleb of 3 weeks ago, I think, in the arena. And well, reality answers to Simba with a sad no. Well, it's not Imba, but that's quite a strong build, we have to admit it. There is only one thing Imba right now, and I think me and Reality both know what I'm talking about. Just don't tell anyone, man. It's gonna be our secret. So, our first map is gonna be Port Alexander. Who would have thought 3 times in a row? Well, are we ready to get into our first game of this Grand Finals? Yes, we are. Cuckoo versus the Kyojin, our champion, versus our 2 times finalists, Grand Finalists, sorry. I think it is. Well, right after this game I'm gonna update brackets and just link it in the chat to make you see what has gone on into this tournament. But here we are at the final series, the last one, and in the first game here on Port Alexander, 3 times first map in a row. People love it. Oh, so I see the debate in chat is really getting interesting. Actually, after a no about Tall Simba, there was an answer. It was yes. And then there was another answer, and it was no. Really interesting. Anyway, Spawny in the bottom right hand corner of Port Alexander, our 3 times in a row champion, 5 times overall in only 9 editions of the Alpha X Arena. He is our youngest from Romania. I think it's Romania, yes. He is Cuckoo. Lots of Romanian players in Flex anyway. Spawning in the top left hand corner of the one insane Port Alexander, fresh meat of Alpha X, playing from Morocco and already showing up his skills, getting 2 times in the Alpha X Arena Finals. It is the Kyojin. Gateway first, Refinery first, and Barracks. Super standard. Super duper standard. I'm just curious about who will be brave enough to actually try and expand. Since I think no one will actually expand in this game. Anyway, Kaioshin actually gets a lot of rolls to try and deny the scout, maybe too many. Once again goes for the pylon inside the wall to make a faster wall, avoid the alien stuff, alien harassment. And okay, the cybernetic core gets dropped, so no get reverse, and now he has enough stuff to put on the Nexus as well. And now Cuckoo has a knowledge advantage, since he knows his opponent has gone for quite the greedy build. He can go for something aggressive of his own, or be safe getting a command center of his own. And that's the decision of a blue Terran that knows his value, knows how strong are his two basal lanes, and that's probably what we're gonna see. So no more debate on if Taos is in by in the chat. Please go on, please, I beg you, this has been really fun. Anyway, Stalker first for the Kaioshin that probably wants to get the Stalker count again really going on for him, and at the same time I think Cuckoo is going for a alien harassment build, or maybe a halfback push. Good catch on the... okay, so this is actually probably gonna be just a lot of marines, a tank and a couple of medivacs, or maybe just no medivacs and just tanks, marines and bunkers on the ramp. This is a strong build on Poor Alexander, since once you get on top of the ramp, actually the place in which you can fight is basically huge. So the Reaper wants to get a little bit of a scout, and why do we not follow the adventures of this little Reaper? He gets on top of the cliff, but he's gonna see this... oh, the Stalker is eventually gonna shoot away. He gets inside, but with a good micro, actually the Kaioshin denies any scouting capability, and he has to use a scan, but this is so precise, he gets all the gateways and the robotics facility. Kaioshin is probably going for the same build he has done in the last game versus Potato Pad, and Cuckoo almost instantly goes for the bunker of his own, gets into a defensive position, gets his SAV count, worker count a little bit higher, and gets the Viking to try and kill the War Prism that is coming. So, ooh, this is going to be close. Oh my god, this has been so close. The Kaioshin almost denied the bunker, and he would have earned him a few free marine kills, and instead he only gets a single SMV. Now the tank gets into position as well. Another tank is gonna come out before the push by Kaioshin actually gets into a good spot. So Twilight Council is the next tech choice of the Kaioshin that gets a good economy of his own. He wants to deal some damage with those Stalkers, but he's not fully committed. He probably wants to get for go for maybe a CIA build, or maybe just get Blink and try to push the number of Stalkers even upper. So 2 tanks really good against Stalkers, with 1 Viking to actually avoid the Warp Prism getting into his base and eventually trying to kill Warp Prism as well. So the tank is at such a good position, and oh god, Cuckoo has scouted this so good. The Viking is in the perfect position to shoot this away, but the Stalkers get on top of the first tank, and with, oh my god, such good micro by Kaioshin that saves all of his Stalkers and kills a free tank by saving this War Prism as well. The Marines move out, but now the Kaioshin can get back into his base. He has seen a lot, he has dealt quite a bit of damage, he can get into charge and maybe start ramping the amount of immortals a little bit higher up. So Cuckoo has a slightly bigger economy, since he did not actually commit too much into units, just cheap units like Marines. Got a couple tanks out. This is gonna be the 3rd tank out in the whole game. Now Stimpak, combat shields and +1 weapon going on for a blue Terran. At the same time, the Kaioshin goes for a Nexus of his own. He forced a little bit of a reaction into his opponent that he has gone mostly for units for the past minute, so he's not getting any more SCVs. Well, he actually is, but he slowed down the SCV count a little bit. And now the Kaioshin feels in a pretty safe position. He's gaining armor and ground weapons and 4 more gateways to actually try and make more and more zealots. And he's making more and more zealots right now. I think he needs at least a couple immortals to actually break through this. Otherwise those tanks are not gonna die so easily. But anyway, getting a 3rd base of his own actually just delayed a little bit his army, and right now Coco has quite the worker lead for this reason, and at the same time quite the army lead, and he decides to move out at the same time after scouting there is a 3rd base by his opponent. The Kaioshin gets in a good position to try and deal with this. Tank gets sieged up, and with just a small amount of units he tries to get further inside the ramp. So he needs to charge on those marines to try to get some a little bit of friendly fire, but instead he decides to go all the way around. Bakugo has quite a good read. He decides to do the same thing, but his tanks are unsieged. He needs to steam away of it, and wait, that was a good anti-ammo missile. It's almost all of the zealots, but now that the Kaioshin has a 3rd base of his own running, he can ramp up the amount of zealots quite quickly, and well, with friendly fire onto that bio, no 3rd base, if he actually survives this, well, oh my god, these tanks are exposed. Nobody, oh, wait a moment, Robotics Bay for the Kaioshin, that decides actually to back away from this. He acknowledged there's a scary amount of units, and yes, forced quite the reaction by his opponent. He's actually getting window mines to counter those zealots. Plus two going on for Kaioshin as well, and he wants to get those Colossi out rather quickly. I don't think he wants disruptors with zealots. That would be kinda hard to control. A Dark Shrine as well, it's getting maybe a little bit too much tech. You probably want to get a little bit less against an opponent who's going mostly for units, and Liberators, you need Blink for it. Now the Kaioshin actually decides to move out as soon as it's, oh my god, the tanks are exposed, and this will be a great catch by the Protoss players that gets all the tanks, and now he's in a great position to deal with his opponents. So good anti-ammo missile, but the command center is going to fall. Oh my god, this is so close. The amount of bio by Cuckoo is actually enough to deal with his army, but 23 SCVs have died with the Zealot drop in the main, and this was a great move by the Protoss player that gets into such a nice spot, worker lead, and good tech, good tech to actually build up a better army than his opponent. And right now a lot of Zealots have died, a lot of units have been killed by Coco, and now he has to move out, but there is absolutely no way he can get through this. So the Raven is being killed by the Kaioshin, and actually the Starport is just making medivacs right now. So those Dark Templars can eventually deal so much damage. There is no scan available as well. Oh gosh, this could be the killing move by the Protoss player that has been so clever throughout the game. And now he gets on top of this bio with these Dark Templars, and more units are gonna die. Actually, first scan is get used, but at the same time, look at those Dark Templars. No scan available right now. They can just kill all the production right now, I think the Cuckoo wants to kill the Warp Prism and will eventually do so, but at the same time, if those two Dark Templars, they actually spread throughout the map, but he could get into the worker line of Cuckoo, mineral line of Cuckoo. Oh god, I think the Kyojin is going for a +3/+3, that's quite the idea, but he needs to get Colossi out. Or he's not Shady Dark Templar over here. He gets on top of the command center once again. No scan available, I think. Oh, it's gonna be really soon. 50, here is the scan. It's available right now. He gets in position, scan gets used, but 3 more Dark Templars are actually brought in by the Warp Prism. And this is a lot of Dark Templars in right now. The missile turret can eventually avoid too much damage from being done, and the Raven is out. So, Dark Templars are not going to deal a lot of damage anymore. The Warp Prism will get killed, I think. Yeah, the Warp Prism, so close, but it will get killed eventually. 6 more SCVs have been killed. The Raven gets back into position to deal with this, but at the same time, the Kyojin has built quite the army, and upgrades will definitely make a difference. +3/+3 is almost done. I think the Protoss should be more cautious about this, since Cuckoo decides to go fully all in and there is no Colossi out yet. He needs to rebuild the Warp Prism, but this will probably be the killing move by Cuckoo, I think. This army is scary. It's really scary. First Colossus, I think he needs to Chrono Boost that. He needs it now. Okay, Liberators get into a good position. Now a good surround with Zealots and Stalkers, but a good anti-armor missile gets on top of all the Stalkers, but these are +2/+2 Zealots deal a lot of damage. I think Armera has to top out. What a game by the Kyojin, always up on top of the pressure, and he gets the lead. What a game. I'm definitely impressed. Don't forget the MMR difference of those two players is basically abyssal. It's 4.8k versus almost 2k. That's almost 700 MMR of difference. That's truly abyssal. Okay, so Kairos Junction is gonna be the map choice of our champion that wants to tie the series again. And our players are ready to get into game 2. So Cuckoo decided to go for quite the standard build in this first match. He's known to be quite the cheeser, quite the aggressive player, and I actually expect him to go for something a little bit nastier in this game. And Kairos Junction, there are quite some places for proxies, and there are quite some places for bunker pushers on the ramp as well, like in Port Alexander. Anyway, spawning in the top left hand corner, we have our champion currently lagging behind 1-0 in this best of 5 series. He is the Blue Terran, Cuckoo. Spawning instead in the bottom right hand corner, surprisingly getting ahead in these grand finals, our red Protoss, showing us he's a great player and he's a great addition to this team. He is the Kyojin. Okay, I want to see a Forge so bad right now, and this is a hit. Too bad. Maybe next time. Probe Scout, Pylon Scout. Anyway, The two players are not going for something too weird of their own. And once again, the player who expands first basically gives an edge to his opponent. A decisional edge, of course. You can either get into an economy-based game or either try to force a win out of brute force without getting an expansion of your own. But well, if you don't win in that situation, you're kind of dead. Anyway, the Kaioshin actually tries to deny something out of his opponent with this probe. Eventually does not do anything really too big. Cybernetic core on the way, and the Nexus second. Here it is. Once again, Cuckoo has the decisional edge, but I think he wants to go for a command center of his own. So, once again, we're pretty much into a macro game. We're gonna see if this is gonna be a 2-base all-in by any of those two players, or we're gonna see just an economy-based game. Second assimilator, by the Kaioshin. Inciting, he wants to actually go for a bit more gas-heavy style. Does not want to get into Zealots and Twilight Council, I think he's gonna get a robotics facility really soon. By the way, Reaper gets into the base, gets a free probe, and he's gonna deny a bit of mining time over here, waiting for the Stoker to come. Actually, two probes have died right now. The Stoker has given a shot to his own Nexus, as you can see. But well, the Reaper actually scuts everything. It seems there's nothing really too shady coming out of the Kaioshin, and at the same time, on the other side of the map, we have a factory, and once again, reactor and marines. So he's not gonna lift, just more marines, and I think we're gonna see a tech lab here pretty soon. Here it is. So, tanks and marines, once again, the unit choices of Cuckoo. He likes his marines, he likes his tanks. Everyone has his own playstyle. I play Lean Bane Hydra versus basically everything that is not ZBZ. And well, those two Stalkers can get a lot of free damage actually. And upgraded marines are not really good versus Stalkers. 2 free marines have been killed. And ooh, so close to getting another one. Well, he gets another one eventually. And he tries to get on top of this supply depot. More and more free damage by the Kaioshin right now. The forces Cuckoo to repair and to lose some SCVs. I think he's gonna lose some more SCVs right now. He could have stayed with just those two Stalkers. But now the tank is out and actually could not have stayed. Good decision by the Kaioshin, and at this moment Raven comes out and 2 more barracks are getting dropped in alongside with a reactor next to the factory. It's probably gonna get used by one of those barracks. So, robotics facility and Twilight Council. Is this Dark Temples again? Yeah, Dark Temples on the plane. I think it's the tech choice of the Kaioshin that needs to get a little bit more Stalkers to deal some serious damage to his opponent. This could be as well Blink, since this reactor could be for Widow Mines as well. If he fears again, this is gonna be a lot of Stalkers. Cuckoo gets a little bit of a supply block, nothing too big. Gets +1 weapons, and of course the Kaioshin goes for fast upgrades. That's kind of his playstyle, but at the same time Stalkers get into position and they avoid the tank shot. Okay, first tank shot gets in. I don't think he lost a single Stalker throughout the game, and he actually didn't. But 2 more SCVs have been killed, and right now the unit skill tab, well, it's likely on favor of the Protoss, and this matchup is pretty sensible. You know that there is a lot of stuff that could happen. Once again, I think the Kaioshin wants to get this tank freely with the Warp Prison. Cuckoo actually sees what's going on, but he doesn't react quite quickly as he could.
Additional supply
And now
depots
the
required.
Stalkers are into the main base. He loses one Stalker quite freely. He tries to go for the 4 Stalkers harassment style. I think he would have bet a little better. Yeah, okay, so 4 Stalkers, 1 shot, an SCV. 3 Stalkers, they did not quite deal enough damage. And now Interference Magic is over. He tries to get away with the Probe Prism without Steam Pack finished with those Marines. There is no way the Terran can actually chase. And once again, Kaioshin goes for quite the aggressive play, while at the same time going for base of his own and upgrades. But now he has definitely to get away with the Warp Prism. He does not want to lose it. He probably wants to get a recall on this Warp Prism. I don't know if he has enough energy to do so. Yes, he has. And well, just recall it, please. Or maybe just leave it here and hopes his opponent forgets. So charge has been done by the Kaioshin, but right now Kuku has quite the scary army once again. Yeah, so he just hoped the opponent would forget, and he gets back again after killing the single SCV. I think Apollo's play is a little bit over microing, going for +2 armor, +2 weapons, but he needs units right now. He needs to get a bit more Stalkers, a bit more Zealots. This is a killing push right now by Kuku. The Kaioshin actually scouts it, but these 3 more... Oh gosh. I don't think the Protoss has enough to deal with this. Just to get us around, but Widow Mines are good versus Zealots. Oh my god. Yeah, those Widow Mines shots has been perfect. And the Kaioshin army gets shredded to bits by the anti-armor missile and the bio army of Kuku. I don't think there is chance for the Kaioshin to actually recover from this losing position. A little bit of over-macroing, a little bit of trying to deal too much damage. I mean, it was fancy and all, but on the long term, Kuku got quite a strong army to deal with his opponent. And now Cybernetic Code goes down, this pylon to go down. He tries to get a bit more Zealots going on for him, maybe waiting for +2/+2 to kick in, but there is not enough time. The probes and the Nexus are actually starting to die, and with good micro, Kuku actually avoids friendly fire with the Widow Mines and keeps all the remaining Zealots. This is definitely GG. It's just a matter of time. Another Nexus goes down. Only 4 Zealots, 5 Zealots against this Bio army, while at the same time the Worker League is heavily in favor of Kuku. 2 Forge get killed. Now it's 8 Zealots against all this Bio, and with good micro, actually, Kuku gets away. Kaioshin knows what's going on. The series has been tied. Well, we have a 1-1 and we have a game 3. So it's Kaioshin choice for the map. Okay, so it's Automaton. A map I used to like quite a lot back in I think it was season 1? I don't remember, to be honest. In the last season anyway. I used to have like something 80% win rate on it or something like that. I used to love that map. But it's not been treating me quite good lately, so... Our players are ready, we're getting to game 3. The series is tied. I'm curious about what is going to happen right here, right now. I want a proxy. Not a cannon rush, Automaton cannon rush. It's not quite good. I mean, it's really good for denying a natural base, but that makes it good versus Zerg, not versus Terra. But anyway, there is this spot over here and over here that is quite good for proxies. Since Automaton bases are quite far from each other, so eventually getting a good place on wishing to warping units is quite the big deal. Anyway, let's get into it. Just having tied the series, spawning as a blue Terran in the right hand side of Automaton, we have our current champion. He is Cuckoo, 14 years old, from Romania. Yeah, you heard me right. 4.9k master player, and he's 14 years old. Spawning on the left hand side of the one and same Automaton, he is the Red Protoss, trying to get once again on top and get his first Alpha X Arena victory. He is the Kyoshi. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I do not have... Yeah. That's why. Anyway, both players once again going for something really standard. We will not see a cannon rush, we will not see a proxy yet. We can always see a proxy in the next few minutes. But, well, those two players have showed us the playstyle they prefer is going for something aggressive out of two bases and just getting slower build up to these strong mid-game armies. Anyway, Reaper first, Nexus being scouted by Cuckoo, and this once again gives him a small edge. He can decide to go for a Nexus, for a command center of his own, for an expansion of his own, of course. And that's probably what he's going to do now. Yeah, that's it. He goes for a command center of his own, and well, what's gonna be his next building? I think it's gonna be a factory, and not a second barracks. Yeah, he's waiting for the 150 and he gets a factory. So Reaper goes out looking for some proxies, no one to be seen right now, and once again the Kaioshin goes for a Stalker first, gets his warp gate, no chrono boost on the warp gate, but chrono boosting the Stalker to try and deal with the Reaper as fast as he can. But well, Automaton is such a good map for the Reaper. You cannot climb through here, of course, but you can climb through here, but the Kaioshin is a clever player and is walling in the entrance for the Reaper. I think he can climb up over there, but I may be wrong. So the Reaper is still scouting for eventual proxies, while the Stalker is trying to find the Reaper. And they are going to meet. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, they are going to meet. So the Stalker is gonna come back to his base to deal with the Reaper. I think Cuckoo knows how to climb up this wall. Yeah, he gets into this spot in which he cannot do anything. And now the Stalker cannot not chase it away, but still, he can shoo it away, avoid it from scouting stuff. I don't know if Cuckoo actually clicked on this robotics facility to see that it was a robotics facility. But right now he's not actually answering to it. He's getting his aliens out. I think he's going for a mech-based play. And since I see a 1-1-1 opening, I see the barracks lifting to... Oh, actually, this is just 4 aliens, and now it's probably gonna be Marines and tanks once again. Reactor Marines, Tech Lab for tanks. But Stalkers, if there's something Stalkers are good at, is trading with aliens. So 2 Stalkers against 4 aliens in Reaper, not a good deal. But, well, he needed quite more Stalkers. He gets the Reaper, but he's probably gonna lose both his Stalkers. And that's not what you want to do. He tries to recall it and he will eventually manage to recall the Stalker back to his base. But now I don't know. I think the Kaioshin lost any edge he could have had with denying the scout out of his opponent. Once again goes for a little bit too many Stalkers for his comfort, and a single tank can probably shoo away those 4 Stalkers. He actually warpings more. Automata main base is actually huge, so he can get on multiple positions. And right now the Medivac actually gets the aliens, but well, he drops it down immediately. The Kaioshin is stealing some damage with his really good micro, but the SCVs surround the tank. Oh god. More and more Stalkers being warped in, but those 3 Stalkers over here are eventually gonna get... Oh! This is sick micro actually. Liberator gets into a good position to avoid the Stalker from going forward. They can kind of go through here, but they have to face all of his army. They cannot go through here, or they have to face the tank. Now the tank gets into 2 tanks in really good positions. The Stalkers can get on top of them, but look at the knowledge of the Kaioshin that slips just past through the range of those tanks. If there is something Cuckoo can do, it's a counter-attack with his 4 aliens. There is nothing here to defend the base of the Kaioshin that has the probe advantage, and who knows for how long he's gonna have it. So almost all of the Stalkers have been killed by Cuckoo that moved forward his tanks. I think actually the Kaioshin tried to move forward as well, but now the Hellions are dropped into his base, and this is the moment he will start to panic. 2 Stalkers walked into his base. They try to get Medivac actually, and they go... Actually, they get the Medivac. All the 4 aliens are eventually going to die. They kill 8 probes, 9 probes right now. They're probably going to kill a couple more, I think. But, well, losing Medivacs, oh god. Sick micro by the Kaioshin that gets the aliens with the probes, avoiding any further damage. But now, 3 tanks and the Liberator, and the Raven as well. That's something that can deal really good against Stalkers. I think the Kaioshin walled himself in his warp prism to get his units out, or maybe killing one of his gateways would be good for his own sake, or maybe just building a pile on you and killing his pylon. Anyway, he doesn't realize his units are not actually... Okay, yeah, he now is probably going to kill this gateway to get out of his base. He gets a Dark Shrine. He wants to probably end the game right now. Now barracks have been built. He decides to stop making tanks. He's satisfied with his own count of 3 tanks. No third base for both players, but now that Cuckoo as the worker lead, he immediately starts to try and deal more damage with his units. Liberator kills 5 probes, a little bit of a slow reaction by the Kaioshin, and now the Liberator gets into this safe spot, knowing there is no no target yet. Once again, the Kaioshin has not a really good timing for getting his 3rd base, but he decides to move out as soon as he gets it, and that's probably clever since he needs to deal some damage to actually get out on top of this with getting a 3rd base. Now the Liberator does not get another kill, but right now this is a scary amount of Stalkers. No blink, that's a problem. With a Minestar, well, quite good. Once again, the Liberator gets on top of the worker line over here, gets 5 more workers. And the Nexus over here, not really done yet. The Kaioshin is falling further and further behind. The Dark Templars try to even up the score. They kill 4 SVs, they kill a Marine, they're now killing a tank, and they're eventually going to kill that tank. but this is a lot of Widow Mines. Oh, look at it. Nice micro. Once again by the Kyojin. The Raven will eventually follow the Dark Templar and make it killed. The Kyojin knows he cannot do quite a lot, and he decides to just get the hell away from there right now. I think the Liberator has been dealt with by those Stalkers that were, yeah, those two Stalkers. But anyway, Kuga's got in quite a comfortable worker lead. Oh, the Liberator actually falls right now. And Kuga gets on the low ground. He wants to get this expansion. He does not know the full army of the Kyojin is over here. And right now the reaction of Kyojin is a little bit slow. But he knows he cannot deal with the army right now, even though the Widow Mines are not buried and the tanks are not sieged. There's a little bit too much for him. Now the Raven gets into a good position to do an interference matrix to avoid the Warp Prism to actually do stuff. Yeah, here it is. Raven has given enough time with the interference matrix to eventually let part of his bio get on top of the Warp Prism and get away. Those steel scans a bit useless, I'd say, but I think Koku can afford it. He has quite the worker lead, even though he has not the same amount of bases as his opponents. And these many Stalkers, without Link, a lot of charge lots, without upgrades, I don't really know what this is gonna bring. I think Koku has quite the edge. The army he has is really strong at dealing with both Zealots and Stalkers. I think he has combat shields, yes. Does he have +1? Yes, he does. Let me just check real quick. Yes, he has +1. Now, the Kyojin actually has +1 armor, but his army is... Oh! He actually is on the high ground, but the two armies just slip past each other. Kyojin sees what's going on. Good warping into the main of the Zealot. This was a good warping. Now Kuku has to climb the ramp. Just one siege tank. He forces a little bit of a move out with the SCVs. He tries to get a good spread. Now the anti-armor missile is not quite good enough. The Raven actually falls. Not a lot of friendly fire with the Widow Mines and killing all of the Zealots. There is no more army left for the Kyojin. Oh gosh. Yeah, yes, to deal a lot of damage with those Dark Templars. So this is actually game. I don't think our Red Protoss has dealt enough damage to justify this amount of supply difference. Now the Widow Mines kill 7 more codes. There is no Raven to actually kill the Dark Templar, but there is a scan. The Dark Templar tries to get away, but concussive shells gonna lock it in place. And yeah, just as soon as he was going to get out of the scan range, he gets back in and get killed. Now Widow Mine gets another Dark Templar, and those 4 Widow Mines get 15 more codes. And all get out unscathed as well. So it's 20 workers for the Kyojin, 36 supplies to 433. This is definitely game. It's good for our Red Protoss to just try and fight for the series. But there is no way you can climb back from that game. Absolutely no way. I'm calling the GG 100% right here. You get some Archons, but there are Marauders over here. Archons are not that good, but some Marauders. So he's gonna get into a sieging position, and it's gonna be game. A lot of Widow Mines against 4 Stalkers and 3 Archons with this amount of fire. It's 112 army supply versus 24. Does get pulled, but I think the Kyojin knows there is no way he can actually break this attack. This is definitely game. I'm just gonna wait for the GG to come out. Yeah, the desperation for Dark Templars to try and deal damage, but it's 14 workers to 40. 112 army supply to 6. The scan deals with the Dark Templars as well. I think Kuku has another scan to deal with the Dark Templar as well. Oh, he does not, but he will have soon, I think. Yeah, he does now. And the Kyojin calls the GG. That Kuku gets the lead in the series. Well. Match point for our champion. Guess I'm gonna update the bracket real quick. And I'm gonna paste it in the chat for you guys. So here is the bracket for you guys. Yeah, just paste it into the chat in case you want to know. Okay, Cyber Forest, I want to know what has happened in this tournament, of course. Cyber Forest is gonna be our next map. Will Kuku close out the series? This is gonna be game 5. We're just gonna discover it pretty soon. So Cyber Forest, scary decision versus a player like Kuku, who likes to go for his 4-Rex play on Cyber Forest. Fun fact, I'm not subbed to this channel. That's sad. I'm casting a tournament in this channel and I'm not subbed. I'll do it later. Anyway, if our players are ready, I'm eager to get into this game 4. Ready, boys? So we are ready to get into game 4. Match point for our champion. Really get serious, really get these grand finals and be crowned 4 times champion in a row? Or is it going to go in a tied series, close series into game of 5? Well, sorry, game 5. I don't know why I said game of 5. I think I'm just thinking too much about Game of Thrones. And yeah, you know how it is. Anyway, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Cyber Forest already sending a SB through the map. I knew this. I knew this was going to be a 4-Rex. He's our blue Terran. His name is Kuku. Oh my gosh. Nope. Oops. Yeah. That's right. Anyway, spawning in the top left hand corner doesn't realize how much of a problem he's got himself into. Is our red Protoss, the Kyojin, trying to tie the series, but I don't really know if he will. Okay, he makes a Bex in his main, so I think he eventually decided not to go for the 4-Rex. Am I correct? Yeah, he goes for a refinery as well. He decided not to go for the Proxy Rex. So I saw the SCVs going through the map and I was immediately scared. Oh my god! Gas steal by the Kyojin. This game is... I know these are standard openings, but this is getting quite wild. One probe has died. An SCB has almost died. And the Kyojin isn't really going for he wants to do an NG Bay block. No, he does not want to. Yeah, so Nexus is gonna come up first. Soon. For the Kyojin. So, LCV and Probe died. And there is this Shield Simulator over here. Seeing what's going on. Anyway, Reaper first. He's gonna get a full scout of his opponent base, probably. So this is quite the wall. I don't even know if the Reaper can get on top of here. I think it can. But that's not quite a good feature. I think this should be just eliminated. But anyway, another map maker. So, second barracks, third barracks. Oh gosh. No factory? Yeah, this is getting wild. So 3 barracks, actually. And a reactor as well. What is this? Is this a lot of Marines? And that's it? Just a lot of Marines? Could be. Yeah, so the first Stalker actually gets into a good position to deny some stuff. He will deny will delay the command center as well. And this has been really close. He wants to get a cancel on the bunker as well. I think he will eventually get a cancel. These are not enough Marines. Kuku loses another SCV basically for free. And the Reaper and 2 Marines are not quite enough to kill a Stalker. Yeah, well, they are quite enough to kill a Stalker. But, well, he wants to kill the Reaper to avoid getting chased down. But, well, he got into a spot in which he cannot be chased down. Okay, so 2 Stalkers, good micro by Kuku, that gets one of the Stalkers. Now the Stalker wants to get the Reaper and a Marine, and gets only a Marine, and that's not quite a good trade for our Protoss player that has indeed get in a worker lead, but has basically no army. And I don't really see Kuku going for a macro build anyway. He's making SCV basically only to spend these minerals, because he wants to go for a lot of Marines with Steam Pack and Combat Shields. He doesn't even want to go into Medivacs. He didn't even get a factory. He's just getting a lot of Marines. And by a lot of Marines I mean a lot of Marines. And NGP as well, to spend the gas. Okay, no, that's a factory. He knows he has to get at least some Medivacs with this push to make it worth. I think he's gonna add maybe like a tank to this as well. Anyway, at the same time the Kyojin going for the same build he has done for the past 4 games in a row. Gets the robotics facility, tries to get the Warp Prism out, gets charged, and tries to deal a lot of damage to justify an early third expansion. Warp Prism is out, a little bit of a waste of the Chrono Boost on the robotics facility before, unless he got an observer that I do not see, but I don't think that's the case. Charge almost done, Warp Prism almost done. He wants to immediately get into his opponent base and deal some amount of damage. At the same time, as I said, that's a reactor. Okay, so he wants to get just enough Medivacs to support his push with Marauders and Marines. So just MMM for Kuku, that has a lot of units, while the Kyojin has not so many. Without upgrades, charge lots and Stalkers do not trade really good against Marauders and Marines. Especially if there is a good amount of Medivacs out and 2 are gonna come out really soon. At the same time, this spending pushed by Kuku that is getting more and more units out in this moment. The Kyojin goes for his third base. He actually is in a bit of a worker lead right now. He can afford this because he can afford to lose some units. And this is a lot of zealots, but those are not really zealots. Even if he has charge, getting on top of this bunker is quite hard. And I think this has been quite the throw by the Kyojin. That incredibly underestimated the power of Kukus by your army, and only this army actually gets shredded to bits. Now Kuku has quite the advantage. Basically, the advantage in supply Kaioshin had before this fight has totally turned around. Now, the Kaioshin sees his opponent moving out as well, tries to go for a spread with Zealots to get us run on those Marines, but Medivacs have energy, Marines have concussive shells, Marines have health, Steam Pack. These are a lot of SVs. I don't think a Protoss player can hold this. I think a Terran player with Diesel Lean is eventually gonna get the game. SCVs tank for his Marines to actually go and deal damage. The Probe get on top of the SCVs. A lot of units are dying right now, but the Medivacs are out healing the amount of damage Probes and Zealots can do. The USB 2, and once again, Kuku is our arena champion. And here we are, 4 times in a row. Well, quite an achievement. And this build was crazy. This game was actually crazy. 3 racks? I don't know about it. It wasn't even a proxy. What a great game to close out the series. And yeah, actually getting 1 game out of a player 700 MR stronger than you, actually in a macro game, is quite an achievement. So hats off to the Kaioshin for playing an awesome series, an awesome tournament. Really well done by a Protoss player that is actually on an even map count today. He won 3 maps and lost 3 maps, so not too shabby. And once again though, really congratulations to our champion that has yet to face an opponent that can actually beat him fair and square. Only one that has done it up until now was Nuke, that has not played for quite a lot of time. I'm looking forward for seeing him playing once again. But meanwhile, I want to thank everybody for playing, thank our manager Sushi for giving me the chance to do this on the mainstream, to prove myself, and maybe even to have some sponsorization, some extra arena codes for the next events of the arena, so that our great community, our great players can get something for their efforts, and they will deserve it since we have a great community. This is a great team, great players, always really respectful, and full of surprises. Those series have been awesome from start to end, and I really want to thank everybody, and well, just see you in the next arena next week, Thursday. I think it's gonna be 8 PM CET, probably CEST, sorry, and I'll just wait you there. Thank you everybody for watching. It's been a great tournament, and once again, really thank you to anybody. I'm Acontistas. You can follow me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Acontistas, and I'm just gonna stream a lot more on these Alpha X streams anyway, since casting is my passion. And please, if you really like what you see, be sure to follow us, to maybe, I don't know, sub to us if you want to. And if you want to be part of this great family, click on the Discord link, and well, just get to know us. I assure you, you won't regret it. Thank you everybody. See you next week.